Hey guys, this is Donatella and welcome to your 2018 April Spring Equinox video. Thank you guys and welcome to my channel. The goal of this series is for all zodiacs. I want to create an open discussion at the end of every month. I want to do monthly readings, and then I want to have a culmination of everything that we talked about, so that way we can bring it to a forum at the end of the month. Each single sign is very important for every month. Not only is it important for the month, but it's also important for each individual as well. So at the month of Aries, we were really focusing on what Aries can teach us and what we were learning through the Aries process. And the reason why I created this series is so that we can educate each other what each zodiac represents, so that way we can eventually find a resolution, and that way we can bring a forum of discussion with each other. This will bring enlightenment, and we can grow through knowledge. We can do some research. We can find more facts with each other, and through finding facts, we can help heal each other as well. During the month of Aries, it was to teach us about self, the head. It is ruled by Mars. It will enforce action in us. It teaches us to be safe when we're alone, and it teaches us independence and how to plant seeds and learning how to start again. And during April is when you plant seeds. Around October time is when you harvest, and then every April is the beginning of every year. And the reason why I'm saying that is because 6,700 years ago, the Babylonians pretty much invented and created everything that we're using as of today. They had created, this is a many list of many things, and you guys could go through the history books to learn more about this. But they had invented irrigation, time, military, astrology, science, calendar, governing officials. They learned how to flourish the land, and it was a place where celebrity would go, and they had a lot of pride and strength. So Babylon was a place where people had a lot of pride. They held very regard to their ancestors, and they learned how to organize and reconstruct humanity together, but it was done through violence, which was the wrong way to do it. But it was a process where people learned organization with everyone together. If you need more explanation on the Babylonians, more information is also provided in the Bible. Now also, if you learn, during the Egyptian days, the Pharaoh had performed incest, through many generations, because they were known to keep the royal bloodlines. And when they realized that he was causing genetic dysfunction, they were known to eat the pineal gland after they would kill their enemies. They would crack open their skulls, and they would drink the liquid that was inside the pineal gland, and they created it as a elixir. This is what the Egyptians would do. Nowadays, scientists say that the same crystal that was found in the pineal gland was the same crystals that were found in phones, like cell phones for connection. And they're also saying that this is like your connection in source to God. So when you're opening the pineal gland, it's kind of like you're jailbreaking your mind, and you're accessing more filters than you were allowed to see. So for example, when you jailbreak your cell phone, you have more access to viruses. You get access to all the good apps. You also have access to apps that can give you viruses. So when you're messing with your pineal gland and it's not opening naturally, you're just stripping it open, and then at that point you don't have any filter. Anything can be accessed inside of you. The reason why this is so important is because the Babylonian king was the first king that Pharaoh had considered to breed with after inbreeding was not an option anymore, because he had thought that the genetics inside of the Babylonians, also known as the Assyrians, had the strongest genetics. However, since the Babylonian king did not want to provide any of his daughters to the pharaoh, both countries had dissolved. Both countries lost power because of greed and pride. As Assyria and Babylonia grew, more and more, the greed had grown, and more innocent people had died. And once they had more greed, they wanted to start attacking Israel. And people that have read the Bible have known that Israel was always protected. So whoever tried to attack Israel would have repercussions on God. So as the text tells us, there will never be another Babylonia again. God was upset that even though he had gave us such a place full of abundance, full of farming, full of power, and because of our thirst for greed, Babylonia would never resurrect again. In fact, it would burn forever and ever. So, bringing us to modern day, the Garden of Eden in Babylonia is currently located in Baghdad, Iraq. Since that time, we have purchased and sold oil from their countries as well as the surrounding countries. And there's more details about the surrounding countries in the text as well about what will occur. It's not really proven, but as we know, that our debt to Asia is helping us for the cost of these wars that we are creating. And if you think about it, when a homeowner does not pay their landlord, a country can be taken over. So you got to be really careful with who your allies are. You have to be careful with who your enemies are. You have to be careful with why are you creating enemies? You have to also consider, why are you creating them? Is it worth to even create an enemy when you can create a friend? When you can create brotherly love? When you don't have to fight on all these little minuscule details that we already agree on. We all wanted peace in some way, but greed is the reason for the miscommunication and not being understanding of each other. So the reason why I chose this location was because I felt like when I was in nature, there was so much peace inside of me that I was more able to speak about such a sensitive thing as I'm speaking about to today. And I've always been sensitive. I've always been sensitive to humankind. I've always been friends with the ones that were the loneliest, been friends with the people that would hurt the most, found a lot of love with spiritual people and known the hindrances of restriction and understood human rights and humanity and the love for people, the love for children, the love for others. And the reason why I was compelled to do this, because through the lines of ancestry, both of my parents are Assyrian from the original Babylonia. They were both in fact born in Iran. Both parents full breed Assyrian. And even though I am a descendant of this race, I want peace. I want harmony with everybody. 2,000 years ago, that was 67 years ago when the Babylonians had ruled the world, but 2,000 years ago was when Jesus was born. And Jesus' mission was to teach us about brotherly love, forgiveness, to turn the other cheek, not to harm people, not to harm others, just to teach us to be forgiving and compassionate and generous. And after Jesus was killed, even though the text was there to teach us not to harm others, the Roman Catholics used the teachings to create and control confusion. Us original Assyrians, we were originally pagans. We had believed in worshiping trees, and that's the reason why trees are in our homes as of today in the Christian homes. It's because we had converted from being pagans into being Christians. And because we were such peaceful people, we agreed in a religion that was peaceful to others. We were friends with Jesus. He spoke our language. He spoke Aramaic. And he did not teach us to destruct and destroy anybody. He taught us to come together. He didn't teach us about having differences. He was talking about unity. It was completely different. He was talking about eye for an eye, and there was extra things that were added and other things that were edited and chapters that were removed in the Bible, which is what is believed today. The Bible had not been created until 300 years after Jesus was born. So somehow there was a gap, but people are starting to say that there's 40 chapters missing from this Bible. And the chapter, they say that the chapter talks about Thomas. So I've been doing some research. I did pull up some videos, and the videos that I pulled up, the title of the videos of the playlist is called The Event. So I'm gathering different information here and there, and this is not to say the things that we're hearing is the once and for all fact. What I'm saying is look at the forums that I'm bringing. Look at the videos that I'm bringing. Tape them all together. What do you get from it? What do you get from it? Bring it to me. Bring it all together as brothers and sisters so we can have a discussion and talk amongst each other. Talk about the event. Talk about everything that is happening and coinciding, because the history is matching. History is repeating, and whatever they told us that was being predicted is being predicted again. The area of Israel has been sought after from many different religions, but many believe it to be a holy land. So as soon as that is destroyed, if it ever becomes destroyed, they're gonna know. They're gonna claim it to be World War III. As soon as when 2012 hit, it was considered the age of Pisces was considered to be ended, and now we're talking about the age of Aquarius. And the age of Aquarius is also known as the Golden Age. It's also known as the Matrix, which has codes to unlocking the answers of life. So it's like a grid that you're going to go through, and you're going to find the answers once you find your niche. You're also going to feel enlightenment. You're going to be closer to technology, and technology is going to take you from the 3D into the 5D, and it's going to help you with not telepathy, but like another form of telepathy. But then you're also going to be feeling some kind of upgrade in your intuition at the same time. You're going to have higher self-awareness. Your telepathy will grow. And from the last couple of years till now, and it's 2018 right now, or even since from 2012, there's a high possibility that you have met your twin flame. But most of them are not able to stay with them because of the volatile energies that are occurring right now. So if you have any friends that are Aquarius, you know, kind of go around them so you can kind of get the feel, but it's going to be kind of like that kind of feel right now, the age of Aquarius for the next 2,000 years. That kind of feeling that you get, like that rebellion, that freedom of rights, but brotherly love. We love everybody. Let's work with our technology. Let's enhance ourselves. That kind of mode is going to come into gear for the next 2,000 years, but it's not going to happen so freely without fighting for our freedom. You will notice more things synchronizing and more timelines overlapping. You're going to start seeing more conspiracies becoming true and finding astrology as a map to where the next destination goes. Before I go into April, the introduction was just as important. So that's why I wanted to kind of talk about the reason why I was doing this channel before I had started. The month of April, I really wanted to get into really what is going on in the world. It's less about religion, it's more about spirituality, and it's more about coming together, and it's more about forgiveness, it's more about letting go, it's more about finding harmony, finding peace. And this circle is a circle of friendship, it's a circle for family, it's a circle for brotherly love. This forum that I'm creating has only to do with peace and only to do with harmony, and to gather knowledge with all of us together as brothers and sisters. Because as the energies go by, as time will go by, you'll notice that the energies will become more and more volatile, with breaks in between. It's going to be like contractions of giving birth. And even when Jesus spoke, he said that when it is the end of the world, it will come like a thief in the night. and whoever read about my teachings will be enlightened, and they will not fear the darkness. So if you feel like you are not religious, or there is not a path of religion that you follow, or you follow a different religion, I'm very, we're all open to that. There's no judgment in that at all. But what I'm saying is, throughout all of these religions, throughout all of these spiritual teachings, you're going to be finding a clue in everything that you've learned, but you're also going to be finding the answer towards peace more than the answer in the differences. So whatever you were taught before about differences is actually going to break you apart. But remember that learning your independence is just as important as allowing others their independence as well. So like I said, those who are enlightened will have more strength. Those who are much more depressed will find it harder to survive. The key is prayer and fasting. And last August 2016, when the eclipse was in Leo, we felt very hard energies. And that same day, one of my closest friends had committed suicide. She was very depressed. She was really, trying to find enlightenment. And I really tried to help her find the peace of her life, but I had to move and I couldn't be there for my friend. And at the same time, the same day, my cousin had passed away, and he was very young, and he had a lot of physical issues as well as emotional issues, and that took a lot of toll on him too, and it happened all on the same day. The spring equinox was like a real huge revelation for me and the changes in my life. So that's what pushed me to start this channel for you guys. But fast forward in 2016, Jupiter is the planet of love and luck, and Libra is the planet of commitment, love, and marriage. So that's why soulmates had landed at that time, or if you want to call it twin flames. With the same volatile effects, they were the catalyst to help us into the changes that the world really needed. So when you find your twin flame, they start heightening the things that you need in your life. And then you find them, and when it's too volatile, you'll separate. And when you find your peace, you find them together again. Because without them, you'll never feel that emptiness and that wholeness again. So there is such thing as a twin flame. There is also such thing as soulmates. The difference is that the soulmate will help you. The soulmate is easier to live with. They will help you get your goals done faster because they're not as pushy. They're just like floundering. But the twin flame, when they meet you, they recognize immediately that they have a goal and a mission in this world. So as you guys are processing your missions in this world, both of you are saving the planet. However, it's too volatile to live together in that atmosphere. And the more you find yourself focused in it, you guys will find yourself closer to it. So that's why a lot of people say that when the couples are together, they're in together at 5D, because they need to process both of their journeys together. It's too volatile to live together. But at the same token, you need to understand that the law of attraction is working simultaneously. If you are hurting your partner, you're going to find your partner hurting you. It's going to be a cycling effect that happens again. That's why outsiders will not understand your twin flame journey. It's because you guys have such a stronger path and a higher journey than what is normally expected, and it's not as easy to survive that in a regular 3D relationship. When you have a twin flame, that's a 5D relationship. There's going to be a lot more expectation from that, and if you cannot compete with that kind of energy, you're going to find it falling and breaking apart, and you're going to understand that the foundation that you built for that relationship has to be on much firmer ground before you can continue with it. And in order to continue in your twin flame journey, you have to find your niche. That's how you're going to be able to complete your journey. Okay, so by the year 2018, when Scorpio was in Jupiter, because Jupiter is always the planet of luck, it's going to be traveling in every zodiac for 12 months. It's going to be the catalyst for 12 years. So this year, from October 2017 all the way to November, I'm sorry, either October, November 2018, Jupiter's in Scorpio, and Scorpio is the planet that represents secrets, inner feelings, commitment, success, power, and sex. And if there's anything that if there's anything about your shadow side, if it gets triggered, it's going to be displayed during this process. So if there's anything, if there's anybody that's pushing you, or that's pushing you to the edge pretty much, your shadow side was the year that most of this will come out. So it's you have to learn to be very careful and not to be volatile during this time, because you will definitely be triggered in 2018 to perform your shadow side. Next year, Jupiter will be in Sagittarius. It's going to be a much more spiritual year. So basically, Scorpio is the death card. And the death card basically reminds you of renewal. You die and then you come back. So whoever was your old self, however way you're being volatile, is going to be coming out now. I'm looking for a word. It's not like you're pooping it out, but like you're releasing all of that, all the hurt and the pain and everything that you have gone through, everything that has bothered you. This is the year to like let things go that bother you. And then in that process, you're going to see light and you're going to see love through the smallest hint. And out of that smallest hint, you're going to grow it and make it better. And you're going to see this spirituality out of that light. The people that cannot process this, they will be tested the most. Because if you don't focus on your niches are going to be the things that unlock the secrets to explain the secrets in your life. And if you're neglecting that, then you're going to be more absorbed in the negative things in your life. So what you need to understand is that when you are negative, a person is more likely to follow addiction, and when they're under addiction, you're not able to listen to your dreams, you're not able to listen to your intuition, you're not able to hear the angels, you're not able to hear the good advice from your friends. All of that cuts out when you get too depressed and you follow the steps of addiction. So remember not to be volatile. Make sure that you are calm, because volatility is very likely during this stormy weather. So once it was 2012, the age of Pisces was over and it was the age of Aquarius. And like I said, if you guys find an Aquarius friend, they will help you kind of revolutionize in this new time. And so as of this month, as this month closes off, this was the month, now we're reflecting back to what Aries had represented. And Aries is about self-help, it's about self-help, it's about being ambitious, fighting for your own rights, fighting for your own freedom, being the soldier within. And then when you were lacking this, every time that you needed that strength, it was your Aries friend that helped you find your self-worth. And when you're lost, this Aries individual is actually the one that will help you find yourself again. They'll help you find yourself. Maybe they might not be able to bring back people together for you, but the lesson in Aries is the strength within ourselves. So that's what this month started with, because you cannot help anybody else if you cannot help yourself. So start with self at Aries, and then we can start discussing month for month what we're going to plant seeds in. So if you have not planted a seed for any trees or any plants or any flourishings, the most important seed that you were supposed to plant was the seed for yourself, the seed for self-healing, the seed for self-nurturing, because it's not a selfish love when you love yourself. It's something that you do for yourself so that way you can be happy. Because if you can recall, when you're in the airport, in the airplane, you have to save yourself before you save the baby. Because if you save the baby cannot save you back. And in order to save your country or to save the world, first you must save yourself, then save your family within that home. And then your friends and your community, and then your town, your country, and your universe. You start within as one seed, one cell, one molecule. You grow from that, you heal that, and then you start healing things around you. Now, when I say finding your niche will help you find peace, I would like to use myself as an example. When I was growing up, we are Assyrian. As you know, our ancestors were really pagan, but from 2,000 years, we are now Christian. And I'm not saying like, I'm not trying to practice my religion on anybody else, but I am a believer because it has brought me so much strength, and I've seen so many miracles that I cannot distract myself from the power of God. Now, if you believe in another God or another religion, I totally respect that, and I can understand that, and I also, believe in the power of God, and I believe in that power. And it's through that power that through your loneliest times, through your most weakest times, all of those times that I have felt anxiety when I'm like, why do I feel this feeling? Why do I feel this feeling of emptiness? How come this person is hurting me? Why am I going through this? Every time I prayed, every time I fasted, I found relief from that. And when I felt like there was too much distraction from the world, I put away my cell phone, I take myself back to nature, and I really enjoy being in the company of innocence, especially my children, animals, things that are like so beautiful. And the other day when I saw a nest being, a bird's nest was just barely put into our backyard, like these two birds had created a nest for their little chicks, and I just saw like how much humanity and even animals have so much love. And if we could just see these animals, how much love they have, it can put so much love in us. And then we forget about the restrictions, we forget about the pain, because when you focus on love, there is no restriction, there is no pain. Everything is expanded at that point. But it starts with self-love. And as we go through the months, we're going to talk more and more about what each month represents. But don't forget to love yourself, because Aries was the love. Aries is nature, Mother Nature. We are out here enjoying each other. We are out here enjoying time. And as I love myself, I love others too. And it is when I love myself, I'm able to love others. And I just want to thank you guys again, and thank you again for coming to my channel and embracing this time with me. And as the time goes, I want to build more and more of a stronger form. I have so much more information that I want to share. The power of each zodiac. Right now, we're talking about Aries. We're talking about the importance of Aries. Because right now, the most important thing to cover is your own individual strength. And as the months go by, we're going to talk more and more about other things. So if you find yourself weak, replay this again, put it on the watch list, the watch later list. Please subscribe to it, because it's only focused on healing. We're not focusing on restrictions. We're not going to focus on pain. We're going to focus on brotherly love. We're going to focus on healing. We're going to focus on nature and gathering and family and being accepted and accepting others. And through this process, I'm going to help you find the healing that you want, the healing that you need. But as the time goes, please remember to take your family to nature, because through all of this pain, through all of this suffering, a little trip to nature, a little trip to all of this beauty will help all of your family. Just even if it's for just a couple hours, this will bring that godly love. This will bring that innocent love back into your life. And I just want to thank you guys again for visiting me. I really appreciate you guys. And hopefully I will see you guys again next month. Thank you guys again. Namaste.